Good afternoon, and welcome to the Partners of Spooner Health's 30th Annual Love Light Ceremony. This year has been different than any other. COVID has affected us all and changed our lives dramatically. We have masked up and socially distanced in attempts to slow or stop the spread. We've experienced a lockdown. At Spooner Health, we've made necessary changes to our visitor policies and to how people access our building. And we've had to deal with numerous staff being gone at one time due to either contracting the virus or having been in close contact with others who have. In fact, I'm recording this from my home right now as I'm on quarantine, as I've had two family members who were tested positive and I've been in close contact with them. Fortunately, their symptoms were minor and they're well on the road to recovery. Others have not been so fortunate. In Wisconsin alone, we've experienced over 18,000 residents who've needed to be hospitalized for their symptoms. And many have had family and friends who've suffered more greatly, with 3,700 Wisconsin residents having died from this terrible virus. Our sympathies go to those who have suffered. I'm proud that through the use of modern technology, we're able to bring you this ceremony virtually. At Spooner Health, we always consider this Love Light ceremony the kickoff to our annual holiday season. And continuing this tradition that I've been a part of for 30 years means a lot to me. Our partners organization and its members play a vital role in helping Spooner Health fulfill our mission. This year has been difficult on them as well, as they've not been able to be in our building and perform the functions that they typically do to support our mission. One of the things that we've worked with our staff throughout this pandemic on is the thought of resiliency and how we become resilient as people and as providers of healthcare. I think that this ceremony coming off virtually really shows how resilient our partners organization is. A global pandemic is not going to stop them from having their annual Love Light program and ceremony. The Love Light tree gives people the opportunity to remember those who've passed, those who have served, or to recognize anyone for any reason they wish. And the money that's raised through this program goes to a great cause. For years, the partners have been supporting scholarships for local area students who are looking at going into a healthcare profession. They are truly investing in the next generation of healthcare workers. While it's been a difficult year for everyone, I really feel there are many reasons for hope. First off, the holiday season to me is always a time for hope. I feel this year brings us more hope. It is anticipated that within weeks we will see vaccines that are approved by the federal government to be used to fight this deadly virus. We're hopeful that within the next few weeks, some of our frontline staff will have access to these virus vaccines. And hopefully by spring, when we can see widespread use of the vaccine, we will see some sense of normalcy return to our community and to our country. And I'm confident that next year we will be having this ceremony back in person at Spooner Health. It brings me great pleasure to introduce our speaker. I've had the honor of knowing Lori Nortz and her family for many years, since shortly after they moved to Spooner. I admire them greatly for their commitments to the church, their school, and their communities. I cannot think of a better person to be our guest speaker during these trying times. Lori is one of the most positive people I know, and I think you will find that her message of light is the uplifting words we all need during this time of hope. Thank you, Lori, for being our speaker today.
Good afternoon, my name is Lori Nortz and I'm here to welcome you to the 30th Annual Love Light Ceremony put on by the volunteer partners of Spooner Health. Many of you have donated money to remember somebody or to honor somebody or just your desire for peace. You might have donated money for a blue light, a white light, or a red light. This could be many different people in your life, I'm sure, have been lights to you as they have been to mine. When I was first asked to do this, I immediately thought of all the people in our Spooner community that have been lights to me. My husband Al and I have been a part of this community for 21 years. We are raising 6 boys here. 2 have already gone off to college, so we still have 4 here. But from the moment we moved to this community, we knew that this was a very welcoming community, a very kind community, a very generous community, And so as I'm thinking about all of these, you know, the light, the love light ceremony, for me, people are lights, because people are, they bring me clarity, they bring me vision. And I'm sure for you, that is, for many of you, that is the same, and that's why you are honoring somebody today or remembering somebody today. I started thinking about all the different people that could be lights, whether it's a loved one that's still alive or someone that has passed away, maybe someone that's given you a nugget of wisdom, or that has just helped you through a difficult time. Maybe it's been a caregiver for you or your child, or for your aging parent, you know, a hospice worker. I know hospice, people that work in hospice are just some of the most wonderful, kind people that I know. It could be a firefighter, an EMT, a police officer. I remember vividly when one of my sons, I thought had died, and I figured when I was checking his pulse, I'd better call 911. So I immediately called 911, and the person that answered the phone on the other end immediately brought peace to the situation. And she dispatched people, and when the police officer came, and the paramedic, and the EMT, they were all there, and I just felt so much peace knowing that he was gonna be okay, and that there were people there that were bringing light into the darkness. And so light brings vision, light brings clarity, and without the light, things can seem very, very scary, as they did for me in that moment. But it's the people that God works through that brings light into the darkness. And so for all of you people out there that work for you know, emergency medical services, any of you who do that, I can't thank you enough for the times that you bring so much peace into people's scary world. So thank you for that. All you teachers out there, you pastors out there, those of you who work and volunteer for Faith in Action, you know, those who drop off meals to people, that you just bring meals over to somebody in need, whether they just had a baby or had a surgery or they just lost somebody. Those of you that help people with just projects around people's houses if they're not able to make a ramp, or just so many ways that people in our community help one another. And I've witnessed it time and time again. And so this ceremony is just an opportunity to thank all of you for doing that. You know, besides thinking about all the people in my life that have been lights to me, I also couldn't help to think of an experience that I had in the summer of 2017. It was actually August 21st, 2017. I was in Clarksville, Tennessee, and I was in the middle of the woods in a home that had this in-ground swimming pool. There were children all over the place, ranging in age from 3 months to 17 years, and I was there with many other adults, lots of different families, and we had all come together from different parts of the United States to witness the solar eclipse. And quite honestly, I really wasn't all that interested in the solar eclipse, because it could have been really cloudy and I could have traveled 12 plus hours and seen nothing. So that wasn't my focus, because I didn't want to be disappointed. I wanted to spend time with these families that had invited us to join them. And so here we were in the middle of kind of nowhere, but in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I remember vividly, we're all around there talking and swimming and eating, and then things started to change dramatically. And we instantly got our glasses on, our special glasses, and we were staring at the sun as the moon started to come into its path. And as this was happening, it was starting to get cooler, and the birds stopped singing, and the crickets started chirping, and pretty soon it was getting darker and darker, and the stars were popping out, and the planets were becoming visible, and all around us is darkness. But as I looked up, and the moon is now completely covering the sun, and it's just this black spot. But around it was the sun's atmosphere, known as the corona. But unlike the corona that we are experiencing right now, this sight was beautiful. It was as if like the sun was dancing behind the moon, so to speak. And so as we were able to take off our glasses and just stare at this phenomenon for 2 minutes and 38 seconds. But as soon as the moon continued to pass by the sun, and just a sliver of the sun's rays burst forth. It was like, get your glasses on, get your glasses on. And I was struck in that moment by the incredible brightness of the sun. But two things entered my mind. Number one, when Jesus said, I am the light of the world. And number two, he said, you are the light of the world. And so in that moment, I was like, oh Lord, if we just let a teeny tiny sliver of your goodness shine forth for all the world to see, this darkness around us would disappear. And so that has just struck me as so profound, so profound. And for all of you out there, there are some of you that let your light shine like, boom, you know, you are just an incredible beam of light. And for those of you that think that you don't let your light shine a whole lot, even if you do just a little, I know there are so many people, even like in the grocery store, just one little smile, if one person smiles at me, you bring so much light into my life. So a simple smile can do that. So I guess I just want to encourage all of you to be the corona, to be the sun's atmosphere in some of these dark times that we're experiencing right now. Bring the light, bring that light, your joy, your smile can bring so much joy into somebody's life. So may God bless you, and thank you for donating your money to this worthy cause, because now these proceeds will benefit some young people that are going into the medical field, and so the scholarship will help them tremendously to go be light to other people as well. So thank you, and God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lori, for your message on light, which I'm sure many will find uplifting as we enter the holiday season. And now it's my pleasure to recognize those who've been recognized by our contributors and place a light on the tree for them. In memory of Verna Jennings, Lori Rogers, Father Dick Cartier, Nancy Weber, Rosalie Mayer, John Schilling, Karen Schilling, Gary Schilling, all who have died from COVID, Dick Swearingen, Bill Passo, Nathan Passo, Joe Weber, Phyllis Weber, Larry McConnell, Joanne McConnell, Marie Hill, Lorraine Hill, Louise Robertson, Cheryl Pearson, Diane Bartle, Joe Brabeck, Carson Dierschow, Violet Koenig, Ralph Zeckmeister, Bernice Zeckmeister, Byron Settles, Georgine Settles, Lanny Matheson, Phil Casilius, Marilyn Casilius, Father Jim Jackson, Don No, Mary Jane No, Virgil Scheider, Merla Scheider, Dan Griffiths, Jeff Smith, Vicki Davidson, Glenn Hedlund, Lester Smith, Jimmy Smith, Carmen Ogg, Nell Ogg, Jules Richard, Muriel Richard, Jeff Richard, Jerry Richard, Sue Michelson, Dwayne Richard, Pearl Klein, Wesley Johnson, Pearl Johnson, Frank Andrea, Rita Andrea, Ron Andrea, Ray Miller, John Jack Villella, Glenn Johnson, Marie Johnson, Lawrence Nesty, Evelyn Nesty, Nick Masterjohn, Fran Masterjohn, Merlin R. Swan, Paul E. Wetzel, Gladys M. Wetzel, Carol Wetzel Wines, Annette Varian, Leroy Holcomb, Bud McClellan, Lou McClellan, Richard Red Wallstrom, Dwayne Wallstrom, Sue Staria, Don Staria, Jean Semenko, Barbara Hartman, Frank Buzz Keys, Margot Passo, Chad Clowerell, Virgil Drinkwater, Ruth Drinkwater, Melva Mel Higgins, D. Higgins Orson, Lauren Keefe, Marion Grandma Sunshine Keefe, Barbara Buzzy Harkness, Dale Nystrom, Don Scalzo, Nancy Scalzo, John Safeblade, John Worley, Rich LaCroix, Harold Brunzell, Dorothy Brunzell, Ruth Rydberg, Scott Miller, Tim DeLoyer, Dwayne Schaefer, Scott Schaefer, Irv Dienstl, Ann Dienstl, Marilyn Gronheim, Tyler Gronheim, Andrea Breivik, Terry Lindstrom, Dale Stelright Sr., Connie McAllister, Terry Lindstrom, Jaden Grail Vogland, Muriel Mitchell, Mike Budge, Katie Budge, James Carlson, Marie Basie, Robert William Gus, Joan Dodge, Steve Walsh, Chuck Olson, Lauralee Olson, in memory of. In honor of all healthcare workers, Pat Neely Perlick, Beckett Johnson, Shalon Ross, Tom Chido, Mary Chido, all frontline workers, employees of Spooner Health, Susan and Brian Zeller family, Cindy and Glenn Dillahunty family, Sandra and Paul Taco family, servicemen, Anthony Brodesky, Sabina Brodesky, Abby Schmidt, John Palm, Don Jacobs, Trudy DeLoyer, Pastor Ron Gormong, Ann Stelright, Susan Adams, in honor of. And in peace or military service, World Peace, Reed Hill, Dan Matheson, Matt Finken, all who serve, President Trump, caregivers, Jim Dienstl, Keith Dienstl, for peace or military service. Well, that ends today's Love Light ceremony, and I want to take a moment to thank just a few people. First off, thank you all for attending this virtually. As I said earlier, I sure hope we're back together, and I expect to be back together next year for an in-person Love Light ceremony where we can enjoy the music of the season as well as the fellowship of being together. A special thank you to TJ Edwards. TJ once again donated our Love Light tree. It is beautiful. It's located out in front of the hospital. I urge you to take a moment to drive by and to see how gorgeous it is. TJ, we appreciate your continued support for our program. Our plant operations staff who helped get the tree set up and put the lights on, they always do a great job in assisting as well with our Love Light ceremony. Kara Walters, who is our Director of Marketing and Public Relationships. This year's ceremony took on a different take with the virtual, and a lot of work had to be put behind the scenes, and Kara has done the lion's share of that, and we really appreciate her efforts on putting together this virtual ceremony, as well as the marketing and PR we do for the ceremony. Partners Organization, we appreciate everything the Partners Organization does for Spooner Health, and the Love Light ceremony, as I stated earlier, is the kickoff to our holiday season, and we appreciate their continued support of Spooner Health. And I most want to recognize Betsy Andrea from the Partners Organization. Betsy has been the chair of this program for the last few years, always does a great job. And again, this year had to be fairly nimble in doing something different with the virtual ceremony, but we appreciate everything Betsy puts into this program. lastly, I just want to wish everyone a happy holidays on behalf of everyone here at Spooner Health. It's been a strange year, but we're looking forward to 2021 and the changes. And I hope the best that you and your family stay happy and healthy.